Hi everyone, my name is Kat Guthrie and I'm the creator of Clarisson's Healing. Today what I want to talk about is discernment. In your energetic field, there are always all kinds of different beings. And in order for you to really understand who is in your field and why they're there, you need to have pretty strong boundaries about the kinds of beings that you are willing to have in your field. When I first started really delving into my psychic information, I started talking to the voices in my head because they were there and I had been told, like, talk to them and they're your guides. And I was like, okay, that's cool, I get to know my guides. I've fired my guides twice because the first set of guides that I had, it was just this one being that I spoke to most of the time, and he was like, fine, kind of grumpy, didn't seem like he liked me very much. But sometimes he spoke to me and I was like, okay, well, I guess that's just my guide. I heard from other people around me saying like, oh, my guide's so loving, so kind, they're so sweet. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like my guides at all. My guide's just kind of a grumpy old dude. But I didn't really believe that I deserved anything better than that. So it wasn't until a little time had passed when I said, everybody says that your guides are super loving and wonderful. I want that. I think I deserve that. And so I said, okay, if there are any beings in my field that are not my actual guides, get out. And the voice said, okay. And that was it. And so then I said, okay, so who are my actual guides then? And there were some voices that were like, hi, we are. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So then I spoke to these beings for about 6 months or so. And they were fine. They were kind of neutral most of the time. It was almost like they were just like casual observers, and they were just like talking to me sometimes, and sometimes they would give me advice, and sometimes it worked out and sometimes it didn't. And after about 6 months I was like, okay, cool, but this is still not the really loving guides that people say. And you know what? I think not only do I deserve people in my field who are really loving, but like I want that. And so I said, okay, if there are any beings in my field who are not actually my true loving spiritual team who's helped me to thrive and ascend and do all of the wonderful things that I want to do as a spiritual being, get out. And the voices in my head said, okay, bye. So it happened again. So during this time, I had been going into the Akashic records, and whenever I went into the records, I encountered these beings who were so loving and effervescent and fun. And based on the belief system I had around what the Akashic records were, I said like, oh, these must be the record keepers or something. These are the librarians. I don't know. But so after I fired my second set of guides and I said, if there are any beings here that are pretending to be my guides that aren't, get out. And they said, bye. Then I said, who are my actual spirit guides? And the voices that I had been hearing in the records for days and for months and months and months said, we are. And I was like, oh my God. I had been going through a period of about a year where I had been really trying to not necessarily control whoever was in my field, but really trying to understand all of the different types of beings that were in my field. I had been working with a healer for a while that told me I had lots of different entities who were controlling my body, who were messing things up, and he was right. I really did. I have been closely observed by many different types of beings throughout my life, and there were a lot of them in my system that were really experimenting on me, observing, creating chaos, creating trauma, all kinds of things. So I really had to develop a system of always kind of clearing out my energy field and insisting that the only people who were allowed in my energy field were those of the highest quality or, the most loving intentions. And it really started to lighten the energetic density of my field, which then gave me more of an ability to understand where my self-worth was low, where my vibration was low, because the relationship between vibration and entities is such that when you have a low vibration, you attract entities to you who feed off of that vibration, right? And so the ways that you can feel better are twofold. You can clear out the entities from your system so that your vibration has a chance to rise and you have a chance to heal and grow, or you heal and grow, and by changing the frequency of your vibration, these beings eventually can't feed off of you anymore because you're not an energetic match. So it is really helpful to do both things at the same time, to be clearing out the entities as well as processing your emotions, clearing out your belief systems like this, so that, as well as a cadre of other weird spiritual things that you need to be doing to your energetic body, which we can talk about at another time. But it is really very helpful to kind of approach it from all of the different kinds of ways, so that you are both removing external influences as well as changing your internal field. So that's a very basic practice of discernment. There's a lot more that goes into it, but I highly recommend coming up with some kind of system for how you allow beings to be in your field, and then really beginning the emotional work of understanding what you want and what you deserve. Because I went through so much trauma in my life, especially from the men in my life, who I all love and appreciate, and I'm so grateful for all of the lessons. But I had a lot of really challenging experiences with men, and so my self-worth in terms of feeling like I deserved love, especially from masculine energies, was really very low. So it took me a while to kind of work through all of the emotions attached to that and start deciding that I wanted and I needed something better from that type of energy in my life. Everyone experiences trauma. Everyone has challenging belief systems. And all that really matters is that you find whatever modality, healing, book, exercise, whatever it is, you find what works for you so that you can start changing the energetic density in your field. This, for me, is the single most thing that has changed the kinds of psychic information and life experiences that I'm able to bring in, because everything changes when your vibration starts to shift.